Konnichiwa! Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nihongo Master podcast. It's Azra, your host, back with another bite-sized grammar pointer for you. This week's Study Saturday will look at the causative form, saseru. This is one of the major verb conjugations in the Japanese language. It's basically the opposite of our previous Study Saturday episode, where we looked at the passive form. Traditionally, these two are covered together because of the notorious causative-passive combination. But anyway, just like all the conjugations we looked at in the past, I'm going to make it easy for you guys by going through it step by step with example situations. This language series is formatted just like our Nihongo Master online learning system. So if you like this, you should definitely subscribe to our website, nihongomaster.com. The causative form is when someone is forced to do something or allowed to do something. It depends on the context on which, causation or permission, the sentence means. But basically, the subject of the sentence causes someone else to do the action, which is why it's called the causative form. Whether this causation is forced or done through permission, it just emphasizes that the subject has an influence over an action, which is then carried out by someone else. Okay, that's a load of who does what. Before we get into that in detail, let's look at how to conjugate. The causative form ends with saseru, and just like other conjugations, it's different for ru verbs and u verbs, as well as having a few irregular verbs. For ru verbs, the conjugation is simple. First, take out the ending ru, then add saseru. Okiru, which means to get up, becomes oki saseru, which means to be forced to get up, or to be allowed to get up. Piece of cake, right? Now the u verb, which gets slightly trickier. Take the ending u sound and change it to a first. For example, nomu, to drink, becomes noma. Then you add seru, noma seru. If the ending is tsu, like tatsu, to stand, tsu becomes ta, since there's no tsa in Japanese hiragana. So then you get tata seru. Got it? Last example for u verb. If it ends with just an u sound, like kau, to buy, then it becomes kawa first. Then add seru to make kawa seru. For irregular verbs, there are only two. Suru becomes saseru, and kuru becomes kosaseru. And that's it for the standard conjugation of saseru. You can choose to stop here, or you can learn an extra grammar point, which is sasu. Textbooks don't usually cover this because it's often limited to casual speech or dialects, but it's worth covering in this section briefly anyway. It's referred to as the short causative form. Conjugation is pretty similar. For ru verbs, instead of adding saseru, you add sasu. Taberu becomes tabesasu. For u verbs, instead of attaching seru, you add su. Nomu becomes nomasu. And for irregular verbs, suru becomes sasu and kuru becomes kosasu. Okay, now let's look at how to use saseru in a sentence. There are usually three elements: the action, the causer or subject, and the doer. So the format is usually like this: subject wa, doer ni, causative verb. For example, sensei wa gakusei ni shukudai o takusan saseta. The subject here is sensei, the teacher. The doer is gakusei, the students. And the action is shukudai o takusan saseru, to be forced to do a lot of homework. So this sentence translates to: the teacher made the students do a lot of homework. Based on the context, this has a causation meaning. Now, another example. Sensei wa gakusei ni shitsumon o takusan kikasete kureta. This sentence translates to: the teacher lets students ask a lot of questions. So based on the context, this sentence has the permission meaning. If you notice, there's the kureru at the end of the sentence. This is pretty common to attach to at the end of saseru to make it clear that it's permission and not causation. Ageru and morao or other alternative attachments are pretty common. I won't go into detail which to use when, but we have a whole episode discussing about its usage. Season 5, Episode 9, Helping Verbs, Part 2. And that's basically it. There are more advanced and beyond the basics parts, but I'm not going to overload you with that for now. What we will do is have a quick recap. Saseru is the causation form used when the subject is making someone do something or giving someone permission to. To conjugate, for ru verbs, take out the ru and replace it with saseru. For u verbs, take out the u sound, change it to a and add seru. There are two irregular verbs, suru, which becomes saseru, and kuru, which becomes kosaseru. The shorter form of this causation form is sasu. The conjugation is similar. A basic sentence format is subject or causa, wa, doer ni, causation verb. If you want to make it clear that it's giving permission, you can add ageru, kureru, or morao at the end of the sentence, depending on who is giving who permission. Okay, we made it through the grammar explanation. Now it's time to put that new knowledge into practice. We've prepared two short role-playing scenarios for you, one with the English translation and another without, instead with a short quiz. First up, we have Saya and her mom talking about school.
お母さんは音を学校に行かせたよね。なんで彼は学校にいつも行きたくない？
さあね。あ、さやちゃんは大学に行きたいよね。その日行ったから。
あ、そうそう、行きたい。学校に行かせてくれない？
行かせてあげるつもりだけど、もう少し考えさせてくれる？
ほんと？やったー。
まだよ。いい子にしてないと、大学に行かせてあげないよ。
お母さん。
Now, let's have a listen at the English translation.
Mom, you made my little brother go to school, right? Why does he always not want to go to school?
Who knows? Ah, Saya-chan, you want to go to university, right? You mentioned the other day.
Ah, that's right, I want to go. Will you let me go to university?
I'm planning to let you go, but can you give me a bit more time to think?
Really? Yeah.
Hey, not yet. If you don't behave, I won't let you go to university.
Mom.
Moving on, our second role-playing scenario takes a look at Tom at work, conversing with his superior, Nana.
あ、ナナさん、ちょっといいですか？明日は仕事を休ませてください。
トムくん、いいけど、大丈夫？元気がないか？
少し気分が悪いですが、家に休む方がいいと思います。
そうか、その部長は、よく長時間働かせるよね。
あ、そうですね。それは他の誰にも同じと思いますけど。
そうそう。いや、心配しないで。彼と話をして、トムくんはすぐに良くなりますように。
Now, we have 3 quiz questions for you to challenge yourself with. First question, what did Tom want from his superior, Nana? Second question, what's wrong with Tom? Third question, what's the reason behind Tom's situation? Answer check. The first question's answer is, Tom wanted to ask Nana if he could have the day off tomorrow. The second question's answer is, Tom's not feeling well. And the third question's answer is, he's been working long hours at work. We're almost at the end of this week's Study Saturday. Let's wrap it up with a quick vocab recap. Okiru, to wake up. Nomu, to drink. Tatsu, to stand. Kao, to buy. Sensei, teacher. Gakusei, student. Shukudai o suru, to do homework. Takusan, a lot. Shitsumono suru, to ask a question. Kiku, to ask. It can also mean to hear. Shigoto, work. Yasumu, to rest or to take the day off. Genki, have energy or good health. Warui, bad. Kibun, condition or mood. Bucho, manager. Chojikan, long hours. Hataraku, to work. Shinpai suru, to worry. Hanasu, to talk. Yoku ni naru, to get better. Okaasan, mother. Gakko, school. Daigaku, university. Oto, younger brother. Tsumori, planning to. Mada, not yet. Ko, kid. Kangaeru, to think. The causation form is used pretty often in day-to-day conversations, both in casual and formal situations, so I highly recommend picking this conjugation up quickly. Which ones of the conjugations we've covered so far in our Study Saturday series are the most difficult? Let us know by commenting on our social media platforms. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, if you're interested in similar bite-sized grammar pointers, head over to Nihongo Master blog for more. And if you're keen on picking up some more Japanese for yourself, hop onto our official website, nihongomaster.com, to learn more about our interactive online learning system. At Nihongo Master, we offer efficient Japanese lessons that are quick, easy, and fun for Japanese language learners of all levels, from beginners to advanced. Our smart tools will assist you in areas where you need a bit of a push and congratulate you on the ones you've aced. Get a subscription today and get a head start on your Nihongo journey with Nihongo Master. And thank you so much for listening in. Join me next time, where we'll be looking at another interesting part of the Japanese language. Mata ne!